Wednesday evening, night, whatever you want to call it. Um, it's a little late tonight because I'm in Bloomington, so we had to go watch that. Otherwise, it would have been way earlier. Welcome in, and this is the Mason Kussmaul Show. And once again, if you're not watching this live, you could always catch the Mason Kussmaul Show. Go to search and just type in Mason Kussmaul. And then once you get to the channel homepage or whatever it's called, you should be able to find, it should say live, and you should be able to find all the lives that I will be doing there. Once again, turn on notifications and subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Mason Kussmaul Show, because you never want to miss an episode. And today's sponsor is Mind, Body, and Spine Chiropractic in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. And thank you for sponsoring. Once again, if you want to be a sponsor, email me at masonkustmaul@gmail.com. No capitalization. And I ask you include two things. One, your business name, and two, your business location. And then this is optional. You can include a little description about your business. And there is no charge. I consider this a way to connect with the community. So once again, email me at masonkustmaul@gmail.com. No capitalization. All right, let's get started with the weather forecast today. Thursday through Sunday, and this is powered by Fox Weather. Right now, it is 64 degrees. I was at the softball game. It did not feel like that. It felt way cooler. The wind was blowing, and it wasn't that comfortable. So next 6 hours, it's giving me partly cloudy, lows overnight in the low 40s. So here's the thing. Like today, we went outside multiple times today, and I would get so hot out there. I would start sweating, but it's really not that. It's really not that warm at night. It's staying low tonight is going to be 51 degrees. Tomorrow is not going to be that warm, though. Tomorrow we're seeing mainly sunny with a high of 67 degrees. Winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. They could be gusting at a little bit more than that. So in a low of 41 degrees. So think about that. If you have a low of 41 degrees, that's not that. I mean, it's at night, thankfully, not in the middle of the day. But it's still not that warm where it's a comfortable temperature. Friday, we have sunny with a high of 73 degrees with a low of 35 degrees. Now, that's almost to the freezing mark. That's not really comfortable either. And it winds light and variable. So it's going to be an okay day on Friday. Could be better. But this weekend looks gorgeous. This weekend's almost boating weekend, which boating is going to be a topic in Mason's Moment coming up. Saturday is generally sunny despite a few afternoon clouds, so still relatively nice, with a slight chance of a rain shower. So it's giving me rain chances at 15%, so not that great of a chance. With a high of 81 degrees Fahrenheit, with a low of 50 degrees, and winds northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And again, that's one of those scenarios where it may be gusting a little higher than that. So this weekend, gorgeous. Slight chance of a rain shower. Don't count on it. Giving any precipitation. I know we're kind of getting a little drier than we have been before, especially as we're warming up. I'm not seeing a rain chance until towards the end of this month. And, that's not really good for people who let me... I've always said I hate it when it rains every single day of the week. I'm fine with one day of it raining. And it doesn't even have to rain all day. As long as we get 1 to 2 inches, I'm fine with it. So it could rain all morning or all night, and I'd be fine with it. But when you get into this dry period like that, your lawn starts to get drier, and the grass doesn't grow very well, and that's why I say I like 1 to 2 days of rain a week. But anyway, going to Sunday now, mainly sunny with a high of 82 degrees and a low of 49 degrees. So there is that temperature jump. That's about a 30 degree, not even 30 degree, but something around there. Temperature change from the peak in the afternoon, the peak of the temperature, and then the lowest temperature at night, which is 49. So that's quite a change there. Especially, I don't know what the average low is for May because it doesn't tell me on here. But anyway, that's your weather forecast, powered by Fox Weather from Thursday to Sunday. All right, let's go to Major League Baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers are ranked third in the National League Central Division. Today they played the Houston Astros. They lost 9-1. The final score. The Houston Astros record is 18-18, and the Milwaukee Brewers record is 19-19. So they have an even record. Upcoming games. Let's go to that now. The Brewers will not host. They will be going to play with the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa on Friday, May 9th. So no Brewers baseball tomorrow. You gotta wait till Friday for that at 6:05 p.m. Once again, that'll hopefully be on your local, whatever you stream, probably on Bally Sports. That's usually what they're on. Saturday, May 10th, the Brewers will again be with the Tampa Bay Rays at 3:10 p.m. And then Sunday, May 11th, the next day of the Mason Kussmaul Show, the Brewers will be with the Rays again at 12:40 p.m. So that's Milwaukee Brewers baseball. Again, today I tried to give you an update on their score, and they had a score of 9-1 against the Astros today. So that wraps up their series with the Astros. All right, let's go to River Ridge School District academic/athletic events on Thursday through Sunday. For more information on this, go to rrsd.k12.wi.us, and this is the calendar part I'm using here. All right, let's start off with tomorrow, Thursday, May 8th. We have high school athletics baseball JV game away against Boscobel in Boscobel at the Cron Sage Park. Elementary events from 8:15 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. will be the second grade field trip to Dubuque. I believe they're going to the Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium. High school events at 12:05 p.m. tomorrow. Spanish for lunch in Prairie du Chien. Not really 100% sure what that is. High school events at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Track varsity invitational in Southwestern at the high school/middle school. Opponent will be Benton, Boscobel, Iowa Grant, Riverdale, Cuba City, and Southwestern. Again, that is a varsity invitational for track at 4 p.m. High school athletics at 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. Baseball varsity game away against Boscobel at the Boscobel High School. High school athletics at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Softball varsity game against Monticello New Glarus at the River Ridge outdoor athletic facility. High school athletics at 7 p.m. tomorrow is a baseball JV game away against Boscobel. Location is 8th at Dodgeville Middle School and 7th at Dodgeville Elementary School. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. I wouldn't count that as accurate information. Going to Friday, May 9th now is high school events is Drive Your Tractor to School Day. I believe that's a thing a lot of people look forward to. Events at 8 a.m. is the AP U.S. History exam. Ooh, I think that's something I would take. District event Friday, 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. is Farm Safety Day put on by the Future Farmers of America program at high school. I believe that's open for elementary and even middle school to participate in learning from that. Middle school events from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. is the eighth grade field trip, and I believe they're going to the Wisconsin Dells, the Kalahari, I think. That's even going into after school, so that's at 5:30. So that's a long field trip. High school athletics at 5 p.m. is a baseball varsity game against Barneveld at the River Ridge School District. High school events at 5 p.m. is the softball varsity game against North Crawford at the River Ridge School District. And high school athletics at 7 p.m. is a baseball JV game against Barneveld at the River Ridge School District. Saturday, May 10th, high school athletics, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. is the FFA Greenhouse Plant Sale. That will be at the school. There's a greenhouse. You'll probably see it once you come into the school. And it's right next to the parking lot, too. High school athletics at 10 a.m. is a softball varsity game away against Pecatonica at the Pecatonica High School. And there are no events on Sunday. So, therefore, that wraps up our River Ridge School District events. Once again, go to rrsc.k12.wi.us for more information. All right, let's go to Mason's moment now. On Saturday, I took boater safety in Prairie du Chien at the City Hall there. And today I'm going to give you my impression on boater safety and I'll probably talk about both, and I'll probably even go off topic a bit and talk about something completely different. So let's get started. So it was from 8 to about 3:30 was the time period. It was supposed to go to about 4, but it's about as long as a regular school day. So think about that. And we had 3 instructors. It wasn't a really big class, probably about 7 people, maybe a little bit more than that there. 7 people there. And we went through lessons. We probably did 6 lessons, I think 6. And we did, at the end, we took a test. It was not an open book test. It was closed. You could not use your notes. You could not use your textbook that we got through. You could not use your state regulations guide or whatever it's called. But I passed it. I got 5 wrong. I don't know how many you needed to pass, but I thankfully passed it. As soon as I found out that it was not, you could not use any stuff to help you, I was like, oh, I don't know why, but for some reason I thought we were going to be able to use our notes. I don't know why I thought that, and again, you're not going to be bringing your textbook and notebook on the boat with you while you drive the boat. So, and they talked about all the boating categories. They talked about driving a pontoon, a personal watercraft, also widely known as a jet ski. Even sailboats were mentioned. I guess I've never considered it a possibility, but I guess it's a possibility you will see a sailboat on the Mississippi River. Now, I would like that person to comment if you have seen a sailboat on the Mississippi River, no other river. I would like you to let me know, comment or something, because I want to hear that, because I want to see if anybody has. Hopefully the comments will be turned on. If they're not, I'll figure it out how to do it. I don't know. I turn them on before the video starts, and then it shuts them off, and then I have to go back in and turn them on. I don't know how that works. But anyway, they talked about canoeing, kayaking. They talked about duck hunting, and they talked about hunting and stuff. Water recreation. A life jacket, also known as a PFD or personal flotation device, is what it's widely called now. Is they highly recommended using, and it's really important. Even if I believe it said the age was you had to be, if you're 13 and younger, you have to wear a PFD or a life jacket. So I heard it was 16, but it's probably always a good idea to wear a life jacket no matter what age you are, because you never know what happened. Worst case scenario, something happens. You hit a wave, you hit another boat, you hit something in the water like a log. And believe me, in the state of Wisconsin, if you are 10 and 11 years old and accompanied by a person either with a boater's license or somebody who's, I don't know how it works, somebody with a boater's license or somebody who was born before January 1st of 1989, then in the state of Wisconsin, you can, at the age of 10 and 11, as long as you're accompanied by somebody who has a boater's safety certificate or something, a license, probably got to be about 18 years or older, or somebody who was born before the date of January 1st, 1989, and is probably a well-experienced boater, you can drive the boat at 10 and 11. So I've driven it before at 10 and 11, and my worst fear is on the Mississippi River, because we travel through sloughs and stuff, and to get to a beach, we have to go down from our cabin. We have to go down. It's called the East Channel. It's called, and if you live in Prairie du Chien, you probably know this, but you have to go kind of down towards St. Ferial Island where the Villa Louis is. You have to go that way. It's by Grenmore Lake, which is where the barn restaurant, Sports Unlimited campground, The Barnyard 9, phenomenal golf course. I like that. It's a perfect golf course for me. The Winnesheek Barn Grill, Cricketore, campgrounds, the Ambrose Slough, it's right there. My grandparents and our family have a cabin on the Ambrose Slough, and we try to get that out there as much as we can. And we're hoping to get that out there sometime soon. And I'm hoping I get because I took this boater safety course on Saturday, and the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary was who did it, and they have to tell the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, hey, so and so or Mason Kussmaul passed the boater safety course. He passed it. So they have to get that to the DNR so the DNR can give me an official license for the state of Wisconsin. So that way, if I ever get pulled over by somebody and they're like, you're too young to be driving a boat, and I have that license with me. Old. And especially at my age, you want to have your boater safety license. They'll usually they'll usually give you a license that is wallet size, so you can take it with you on the boat. They'll probably give you a certificate too, but obviously you're not going to take a framed certificate with you on the boat. That's just common sense. You don't do that. That's how things get ruined, people. And so they'll usually give me that. So, because they said when you're younger like this, it's good to have that with you, so that way you're not mistaken for somebody who's breaking the law. And it's also important to know what somebody at my age, like for example, I have to wear a life jacket when I'm out on the boat. It's orders of the state of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin DNR. So I have to wear a life jacket until I'm 13. I'll probably wear a life jacket more than that because, it's always good to wear a life jacket. Or a personal flotation device, it's called now, PFD. If you ever hear the term PFD, not PDF, PFD, that means life jacket. I heard it's not supposed to be called a life jacket because it's not guaranteed to save your life, but it should. So it has to be called personal flotation device. It's not guaranteed to save your life, but it's guaranteed to help you float. That's what it's called, personal flotation device. At least I think so. At least I think that's how it goes. I don't work for the DNR, so I wouldn't know exactly. But that's probably. So it's really good for somebody who had just passed the boater safety course to bring they'll give you a license. Like it's almost like the size of a driver's license. They'll give it to you that way. Because you're not going to, like I said, you're not going to bring your certificate out on the boat. And I thought the class was really good. It was the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary who did it. And they do a lot of classes. I think my instructors, they do a lot of classes. I thought I heard them talking that they were going to Guttenberg sometime soon. And I hear they're kind of focused on this area with their lessons and instructions they do. And I know you can do it online too, but it's probably way better to do it in person, especially with, boating comes with a lot of challenges. You need to learn how to navigate your boat. In my opinion, you should learn how to operate your boat too. Like you're going to say somebody who's never driven a boat before, but wants to take boater safety. And they step behind they sit behind the wheel of the boat, and and they're like, how do I turn it on? Well, that's why I think, you should know if you're 12 years old or however old you are, you should know how to turn your boat on. If you know how to turn the key on in a car, of course, most cars now don't even have keys. They have like those push buttons, and you have to bring your key in with it. To me, it's confusing. I don't know what's wrong with keys, but I'm a person like that. I don't like new stuff, so. Anyway, so, yeah. But I just think at the end, we did like this, how did you think of the class? We answered this little sheet. And it's like, what do you think we should spend less time on? And I said, well, I don't think we should spend that much time on talking about canoeing and kayaking because, and I get it, you should learn that. I mean, what if you were to fall off a canoe or a kayak? What would you do then? Which you're supposed to be wearing a PFD or a life jacket if you're canoeing or kayaking or paddleboarding. Well, actually, I think they said you don't have to wear a life jacket if you're paddleboarding, which they absolutely said though you absolutely should. But I think if you're paddleboarding, you're standing up and you're paddling from side to side. So I think it'd be smart to wear a life or a PFD life jacket. I'm just gonna say life jacket, but so, and I mean I've canoed and I haven't really canoed, but I've kayaked. I've went out on the paddle boat, and I've done that before, and I know how to do it. I do it a lot. I do it a lot in the summer. So yeah, but I mean I get it. They want us to be prepared, like boater safety. You're learning about all sorts of boats. We learned about sailboats. I actually felt like they talked about sailboats a lot, which I mean, so there was one person there who said he does have a sailboat, so I imagine that part of the curriculum was really good for him. So, but anyway, overall, I thought it was a really good class. The instructors were good. But it's also something that you never want to goof around in, because if you goof around and you're sitting next to your table mate and going, hey, there's gum under my chair, you're not going to pass because you need to be paying attention. And just because you take notes and you have a textbook doesn't mean that, I'm going to automatically pass. I'm good to go. No, that's not what it means. So it's definitely not a class you want to goof around in. You're not going to treat it like a normal school. Some kids treat it like, some kids, even in my class, are treat a normal school day like it's a field trip I always think this in my head. I don't want to say it because some people would be offended by it. This isn't daycare. This is school. You're here to learn stuff. You're not here to play toys and be like, it's mine with somebody. No, we're not here to be babies. We're here to learn. So if you sign up for something like this, you shouldn't come to goof around and stuff, especially if you signed up for it. It's just common sense. Another common sense item, topic. So, yeah, it's definitely not something to think going into there that's saying, yeah, I don't have to pay attention because I already know how to drive a boat. So do I. I absolutely do too. And I still learn new stuff there. I learned about state of Wisconsin regulations that we need to follow. I learned a lot about sailboats that I didn't know. I learned a lot about sailboats. And I learned, I knew that the left side of the boat is called the port side, and the front is called, not the front, the right side is called the starboard. The front is the bow, the back, or the rear is the stern. But I learned there's something called I don't know what, I can't even remember what it's called. This is why we listen in class. I can't remember. It was called the gunnel or something. It's like a siding on your boat. Yeah, there is a lot of parts that thankfully weren't on the test. But I feel like the most basic information you could learn from that, and it's something that should stick with you for a long time, is what each side and each end of the boat is called. So port, starboard, bow, stern. I think that's the most basic stuff. And I had it locked down in my head before I came into that class, so luckily I knew. And the real reason I knew that was because of the Titanic, when I watched that movie. Hard starboard, all that. So I didn't know. I mean, have I ever heard somebody say that out on the Mississippi River? No. And even, so the date that you had to be born before January 1st, 1989, in order for you not to have to take a boater safety course, and it's called grandfathered in, where you can just drive a boat and you don't have to take boater safety. But they still highly recommend you take boater safety. And there were some adults in our boater safety class who were probably born before 1989, and they were like, yeah, I want to learn more about this. I've driven a boat before, but I want to learn more. And they were like, absolutely, we highly recommend this, and I do too. I think there's always room for more learning when you're an adult. Believe me, I know you probably get a lot of it when you're a kid, but there's always room for more learning when you're an adult too. That's where college is for. So, but hey, if you ever bored and you're like, I don't have nothing to do today. Well, if you look in the advance and you're like, oh, Saturday, March 10th, an example date, I don't have anything to do today. Maybe I don't have anything on my calendar that day. Maybe I'll do a boater safety that day. I see they're doing it at this place or whatever. That's absolutely good. And it's not it didn't feel, it was long, but it didn't feel long as a person who took it. Like I took it. Honestly, I thought it was, I was kind of bored by it around 1 o'clock, but we probably took the test around 2:30 because we had to go through like 6 chapters or curriculums. They're all about a certain section, like navigation, what this part on your boat is called, what this buoy is, how to dock your boat, driving while your boat is on the trailer, which is something I don't have to worry about for a few years. Yeah, we talked about it all. Sailboats, different parts of the sailboats. Turning, which side, hard to port, hard to starboard. So we talked about it all. And overall, I really liked it. I encourage people who were born, both my mom and dad were born before the deadline, January 1st, 1989. So I'm gonna tell them right after this, I'm gonna encourage you guys to take this class too. So, and there are multiple safety classes that you can take. You can take hunter safety, UTV safety. I think there's snowmobile safety. There's probably a whole bunch of them. So, and you could probably do these all online too, but it's way better. It's way better to do them in person. You're gonna learn a lot more. So I absolutely recommend that people who are born before January 1st, 1989 take this class, because believe me, it will be absolutely worth it. You'll learn a lot more than you've probably ever known about boats and navigations. We talked about the ocean too, the Gulf, lakes, because I said this before, that every summer for the past 6 years, or five years, this will be our 6th year. We've went up to Hayward, Wisconsin. A lot of lakes up there. It's on the Chippewa Flowage, or next to the Chippewa Flowage. The Chippewa Flowage is just a series of lakes. That's what it is. It's a bunch of lakes. They're kind of all connected together. And so it's really good to know this stuff, because if I ever want to say, oh, my dad and my mom, and they want to cast out, and if I say, oh, yeah, I'll drive the boat, well, I can. So, and they said that they would mail me my boater safety license. So I'm crossing my fingers that it gets here within a week, because I really want to drive the boat as soon as possible. And I can't technically drive the boat until I have my license in my hand, because I said earlier, it's probably good to have your license with you in case you were ever get pulled over by somebody, by a DNR or the sheriff's. I know the sheriff's department, they'll have boats, police departments, and they're all great people. They're all out there for a reason, to keep people safe on the waters, and we thank them for all they do. Law enforcement, first responders, military personnel, we thank them every single day. We're very fortunate for you, and we thank you all for your service. So, to conclude, on Mason's moment, not challenge, but I recommend everybody take boater safety. If you drive a boat, of course, it's worth it. You'll learn a lot of information. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary they taught me so much, probably more than I would ever learn. I want to thank them. And I want to thank the DNR, because they're the ones who are going to be sending me my license. And if they didn't like me, they wouldn't send my license. So I want to thank them. I want to be on the positive side with them. So you don't want to, this is the time where you don't want to mess with the DNR, because So I'm hoping I'll get it here in within a week. I know it's got to go. They said they have to tell the DNR so and so passed the test, so they're good to go. And then the DNR will get you a license and probably a certificate too, and they'll send it to you. So probably it'll be a week or two before I get my license, but it's all worth it. And I'm ready for the summer when I can drive the boat. All right, let's go to the conclusion now. Once again, today's video was sponsored by Mind, Body, and Spine Chiropractic in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. Thank you for sponsoring. Once again, if you want to be a sponsor, email me at masonkussmaul@gmail.com. No capitalizations. Include your business name, your business location, and if you want, this is optional, a little description about your business. No charge, no fee. This is all free. I consider it a great way to connect with the community. And once again, if you did email me, like say last week sometime, you might not get said towards the end of this month or not even June because I only do 2 shows a week. There's sponsors. I haven't gotten sponsored though in about a week. So once again, if you want to be a sponsor, email me. And if you have already been a sponsor in a video, you could be a sponsor again. I'm always accepting that. But you just got to email me and let me know, hey, you can use my business again as a sponsor. You just got to email me and let me know. Next video, once again, actually, make sure you turn on notifications and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the Mason Kussmaul Show. My next video is going to be Sunday, May 11th, around 7:30 p.m. I'm gonna try to go for 7:30. If that doesn't work, because I know it's Mother's Day that day, and I'm planning to go probably be with my family and with some friends that day. So I'm hoping 7:30 I'll be home by then. Of course, I have school the next day, so it should be. But if something were to happen where, like, I wasn't sure I was gonna do it like tonight, but thankfully I was able to. If something were to happen where I couldn't, make sure you have those notifications turned on so you get up. So hopefully you will get an update on the time. Yeah, just make sure you stay tuned in with your notifications. But plan on 7:30. If not, hopefully you'll know before then. But Sunday, May 11th at 7:30 p.m. All right, thank you everybody for watching. We are down to 32 minutes. It is 8:27 p.m., so a little bit of a later show tonight. I'm gonna go off to bed after this. I'm tired. I gotta wake up at 5:30 and watch the weather and the news. And get the latest updates. The forecast is going to be beautiful. It's a great week to go outside. This weekend's going to be nice in the 80s. It's mostly sunny, I'm assuming. So, yeah, make sure you just always stay with your local weather app or channel for any updates on the weather. Like I said, I give the weather out for the time period on where and when in between my shows, like Thursday to Sunday, but stuff will change in between then. Like, it might say, oh, it's going to be beautiful on Sunday, and then it might put rain in the forecast on Sunday. So make sure you always stay tuned with your local weather app. But this is too accurate, too. You can always listen to this, too. All right, so I want to thank everybody for watching. It is 8:28 p.m., and once again, Sunday, May 11th at 7:30 p.m., I'm going to plan on doing a show. Once again, if you did not watch this live, you can always catch it afterwards. Just go to Mason Kussmaul and and you should get to the channel homepage, and there should be a live option. And you can't go to videos, you have to go to live, because that's where this is. There's not under videos, it's under live. So, once again, plan on Sunday, May 11th at 7:30 p.m. If not, doesn't work out, I'll try to change the time. If not, probably just have to wait till Wednesday then. I'm assuming, though, I'll be able to do it on Sunday. I'm probably giving a 75 out of 100% chance. So once again, thank you everybody for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your week and a nice weekend. It's going to be gorgeous. Get outside, do something besides stay inside, because it's going to be beautiful. So once again, have a great rest of your week, and hopefully see you all on Sunday. Thanks for watching, everybody.